Deborah's the vocalist in the band Blondie, and you guys are really sizzling hot now. I understand it's like a 26 with a bullet. I was playing the latest album around my house the last couple of days, and I was really popping around in a fine tempo, getting things done, and it's really a lot of fun. It's very happy stuff.
Yeah, we try to do that.
That what you try to do?
Yeah.
You ain't vicious or anything, right?
Sometimes we are, which, but...
You are?
Not extremely vicious. I mean, we don't want people to kill themselves.
But when you say vicious with a point, that there's some despair as well as happiness?
Sometimes, just generally bitchy.
Well...
A little scathing.
A little scathing?
A little blood, not much, just,
Is there a purpose to it? I guess that's the point.
Sometimes satire's, painful, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I mean, satirizing what really is vicious, you mean?
Yeah.
But you don't set out to be any kind of philosopher or a preacher or a teacher, right?
No. We really want to be entertaining and musical. We want to be a really great pop group.
Is rock and roll disappearing and disco taking over? Are we all going to become...
I don't know. I thought it disappeared and now it's coming back, but...
Rock and roll?
Yeah. I mean, I thought it went down for a while, and disco was way up there, and now it's sort of like coming together. A lot of rock groups are covering sort of disco songs or making their own disco songs.
I don't know. It seems to me that everywhere I look, people are going out dancing,
Yeah.
There's the Blondie had a reputation for having sort of started in the New York punk circles, playing Max's or the Plum, and Deborah, for those of you listening on radio, no, it is radio, sorry, just covered her face as if to say, shame, shame.
Yes, so you can't say punk.
So what is punk, anyway? I used to say, what are you, a punk? In movies, they said that to a kid in the 40s.
Yeah, so it's negative.
This kid has got... Judge, he ought to go to prison. He's a delinquent. He's a punk. What is punk?
Well, the real meaning of punk, I don't think I can say on the air, because it started, I think, in as a jail term for...
You go ahead. I mean, you can...
Well, it's a homosexual male prisoner,
Cut off this tape. Cut off the tape immediately.
Honey.
Control room,
it is.
come in, please. Cut this off. This is homosexual.
I said it. I know.
Go ahead.
That was it. That's the whole truth.
That was the original. Ooh,
that's what I was told.
Ooh, there's a lot of macho boys out there that love punk that would probably turn off it in a second if they knew that. When I was a kid, certain things were so forbidden. I remember I heard the word homo. In high school, he said, homo, that guy's a homo, And then I asked my parents or something, don't ever say that filthy word. I didn't know what it was. And then I was drinking milk one day and reading the container, it said homo. I went, it was awful. So let's get these things out. It helps,
Yes, I know. The culture.
So punk was originally to mean, and it was a prison expression, you said.
Yeah, I was told that by a photographer in London, and I think it started in like the 30s or the 40s, that definition and how it was used, but it's always changing.
Guy may have lied.
Yeah, he could have lied.
You asked him, what's punk? Let's see, she'll believe anything. It began in prisons. I thought it was your sex appeal, let's be frank about it, is really an important facet, it seems, of Blondie's success and your own success. I mean, people find you a delightful entertainer, but isn't there a risk in that?
Having sex appeal?
Well, say more than having it.
Exploiting it.
No, I won't say exploiting it. It's yours to... When someone does something of their own volition, I don't believe they're exploiting themselves. I think one exploitation implies someone else. I'm saying that you're in front of thousands and thousands of people on tour basically saying, come and get me! Isn't there a risk?
Of being trampled to death, yeah.
Because I read in a statement that you said in an article that, I don't know, flashers just seem to follow me, perverts. And so, could there be any connection to the thousands of people who worship you and when you stick your tongue out them and you are a beautiful woman? And are there any disadvantages to that? You know what I mean?
I guess the most obvious disadvantage is when I'm being interviewed, being asked that question.
I see. The host is twitching right now, for those of you listening.
No, It's like the really obvious thing, right? I mean, it's the most obvious thing about rock and roll, I think, and it's the most obvious thing about being a girl in rock and roll, that you would have to take more of a sexual position. I don't know.
The
that
music
didn't come
itself.
out right.
The music itself, of course, is so full of, shall we say, sensuality and a sensual feeling. That maybe it's all in there. We're talking to Deborah Harry.
Hi.
From the band Blondie. That's she on your right speaker. Or if you're plowing down the highway, some Texas pike somewhere, keep your eye on the road there, okay? Because we've got our eyes on you. And you wish you had your eyes on Deborah. Deborah, Deborah, if you haven't seen, is a lovely, beautiful woman who was on the cover of Cosmopolitan magazine last December. I was on the cover once of Hi-Fi Stereo Review. I mean this. In 1964, I was a true spear carrier in the New York Pro Musica production of the play of Herod, an 11th century liturgical church drama which featured such things, really, as... You remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Tough to dance to.
Yeah. But you were great in it.
I hear tell that there are some film offers coming your way, which is not at all surprising to me because you're a character,
happening.
you know,
Yeah.
in addition to very pleasing to look at. Are you at liberty to divulge any of this? I mean, not yourself. I mean, the movies. But
we're going to do our own. We're going to try and do our own movie because we want to do some music. We have some ideas, and we bought the rights to a screenplay that's been done already by Godard.
Oh.
So.
Oh, how interesting.
We'll see what happens.
Have you ever been in a picture?
Yeah, I was in a couple of Amos Poe's things, those underground things. He made some nice documentaries of the early rock scene at CBGB's, and then he has 2 other films out.
Mm-hmm. So you've been in front of the cameras?
Yes.
Yes, those sort of films. I myself rather like that. You know, I've done a few, and
yeah, I know.
because what you put into it and what you get out of it in the end is crazy.
It's so slow, though, to me. I mean,
tedious. Yes.
Yeah, it's very slow moving.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I had a love scene in a movie. It was quite embarrassing to have 20 technicians watching and have to be natural about it.
Yeah.
And
did you really make out?
Yes, but we were really colleagues. It was Joan Hackett and myself.
Oh yeah.
You know, in fact, she was married at the time. I wasn't, but there was no romance. It was interesting though, but she didn't want to work nude. Of course, question was never popped to me. I'm far too hip anyway. After all, it is the 20th century. What is it? It's just a body, you know, until I realized it would be my behind, 28 feet tall in a drive-in movie. Where a hair becomes a pine tree. A little wart becomes a mountain, literally, a molehill. And I got a little bit touchy. I said, what about my parents? You know, and I began to... And the funny thing, they needed a tight close-up of my face in ecstasy, you know, and they didn't even need her in the shot. I'm supposed to be making love to her, and she went off and had a Coke, and I think she had a bud, I'm not sure. But, and I was making love to a pillow.
Uh-huh.
You know, breathe a little louder, Robert, you know, that sort of thing. Well, you really are a character. You were quoted as saying sex is number 1. Now, this is surprising to me because I was led to believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers were number 1. How do you account for this discrepancy? You think the Pittsburgh Steelers would admit that sex is number 1?
I think so. Well, with all those cheerleaders, I mean...
You mean even number 1 over rock and roll?
Sex is number 1.
Number 1.
Numero.
You heard it here from Deborah Harry of the band Blondie. Thanks for being with us.
And you know who told me that?
Who told you that?
My mother.
Ooh. We'll have Mrs. Harry next week. Thanks, Deborah.
Oh, thank you.
Good luck to you and Blondie.
Okay.